In today's webinar, I'm going to be discussing, like Neil said, different things in regards to astrology. I'm not going to really speak so much on Mercury retrograde. I will touch on that just a bit, but really, I know you guys have been hearing about the major life cycles or the major conjunction between Pluto and Jupiter that's coming up. And I want to discuss more matters in regards to that. And if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. I have organized notes here. And so, okay, so nevertheless, when it comes to astrology, you guys just understand that we are made of stardust. It has been proven by science that we are comprised of the same matter that the stars are made of. So the planets, the stars definitely affect us here on planet Earth. You know, as above, so below. It's a very real thing. And we can utilize astrology to map out the different things that are taking place in our lives, and it's such a useful tool. We are just now coming out of the Mercury retrograde in the sign of Leo that just took place over the past few weeks, and that was really teaching us to reconnect with our inner child and to also just reestablish our views when it comes to leadership and thinking about what leadership actually is, what it looks like, and what it should be, and even activating the leader deep within ourselves. There was also a huge emphasis on love, on self-love, and even romantic love and what it may mean to you, how you connect with others, and how you share yourself intimately in a romantic way with other people as well. There was a huge emphasis on children as well, the way that they are disciplined, the way that they are being raised, and even looking at yourself in the way that you are being raised. So, I mean, there was definitely many aspects that took place when it came to this past retrograde of Mercury. It was in Leo, then it went into Cancer. And so when it was in Cancer, we had the oppositions of Saturn and the opposition of the South Node and the opposition of Pluto. And that was very intense. It really made us recognize what we need when it comes to love, you know, what we need to feel satisfied emotionally. And there was an emphasis on forgiveness, you know, true forgiveness and forgiving things from the deep roots of yourself and your deep past, because there was at a point where Venus was making a conjunction to the Mercury retrograde. Also, we experienced a couple of, what are they called? Eclipses. We had a total solar eclipse in Cancer at the beginning of July, and we also had a partial lunar eclipse on the 16th of July in the sign of Capricorn. And these eclipses activated us in very deep ways, activated our emotional vulnerable sides, activated, you know, the importance of family in our lives, and activated the divine feminine and what it really means to be feminine, you know, and what it means to be caring and nurturing. Then when the eclipse in the sign of Capricorn came, we experienced a lot of deaths over the past couple of weeks with that eclipse. You know, it was a lot about releasing and letting go of old psychological ways of thinking. That was the major emphasis on this, because everything that we deal with within our reality is created from within our mind or deep within our psyches. And with it making that conjunction to Pluto as it did, it really helped us to dig deep inside of our souls, deep inside of our minds, and to alleviate and release different things. But along with that, a lot of people did transition. Also, I definitely want to say Forever Rise in Paradise to the great, the magnificent Toni Morrison, who made her transition earlier today. And it was interesting. I actually made a bit of a prediction on the death of a leader, because we are in the moment of, or experiencing, the first quarter moon from our new moon that we had last week in a sign of Leo. And the first quarter moon happens to be in a sign of Pluto. Yeah, Pluto rules the sign. It happens to be in a sign of Scorpio, which rules and deals with death. And so we are experiencing that loss, but it's not so much a loss for herself. It's a true ascension. She's definitely done her work. And I want us to be able to really celebrate that. And just, I hope for others to live a long fulfilled life and create a legacy for themselves, as she definitely made for herself. And she was a brilliant, amazing person. She's an author. You guys definitely want to check out her books because she's so inspirational. Nevertheless, she has some really awesome, amazing quotes. Nevertheless, I want to get into these different things that we are experiencing on Earth astrologically. This is such a time to be alive. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, just in about a week from now, we're going to have Jupiter, the planet of good luck, good fortune, abundance, prosperity, growth, all of that goodness. We have Jupiter is about to go direct in its home sign of Sagittarius. And this is a very good transit and aspect that is coming up, because Jupiter is going to be bringing us those rewards and showing us the fruit and granting us the fruit, I should say, of the seeds that we have planted while Jupiter has been in its retrograde cycle over approximately the past 4 months. So now when Jupiter goes direct, we're going to reap the rewards and the benefits of this particular transit and cycle. So I'm really, really happy and grateful for that, to experience that, because I definitely have been living my life more so on purpose with astrology, and definitely have been planting some seeds over the past few months and ready to see them come into fruition. So that's exciting. Also, children are going back to school around the time that Jupiter goes direct, and understand that Jupiter rules school, rules college, and higher education overall, as well as spirituality, and even foreigners, foreign affairs and exchange, and also religions and religious groups and activities, so on and so forth. But nevertheless, Jupiter is a planet of good luck, abundance, good fortune, happiness, and great prosperity. And it's just, it's considered and called the great benefic in astrology. So we have two benefics in astrology, and that's Venus, and that is Jupiter. And these are the planets that we receive the most reward from. So we have our great benefic going direct. So you guys know, when it comes to Mercury in retrograde, basically Mercury is not working at its optimal level. Okay, so that's the same when it comes to Jupiter going retrograde. It's not at its optimal, but when it's direct, it's going to be in its full functioning way and personality, that we are going to be reaping its rewards. It's always bringing blessings. Jupiter is the sign, or the planet, of blessings. Now, when it comes to the other planet, another planet is changing direction, and that is the planet Uranus. Uranus is going to be going retrograde for approximately 4 to 5 months. And when Uranus goes retrograde, we don't feel it so much. We don't really even feel Jupiter retrograde so much, but it's still there. And especially when it's making, an aspect to your personal planets, then you will really feel it. But nevertheless, when it comes to Uranus going retrograde, this is going to bring changes to your friendship circles. This is going to bring changes to society overall. We may see some chaotic things take place, and also some chaotic things come to an end, come to a stop for some time. And hopefully, I'm hoping that we can start acting a bit more humane with one another. We've been seeing a lot of chaotic things taking place just within the past couple of weeks, just this past weekend with the shootings. And we are definitely in the shadow phase of that Uranus retrograde cycle, which I feel is attributing to some of the violence that we experienced over the past weekend, along with, Mars, and along with the Uranus, the position of Uranus making a square to the new moon that we had on the 2nd of August. So, I definitely feel that things are going to shift and change with Uranus going retrograde. Uranus rules chaos. So it could bring an end to chaos, or it can start a certain level of chaos depending upon the direction, or depending upon what, aspects it is making, and what is needing some form of change. And that's what Uranus really represents at the end of the day, is change. It's saying that these things need to be shaken up, these things need to shift, and these things need to change. And we're in the age of Aquarius. I know that there are many astrologers who are saying that we are not yet in the age of Aquarius, but I personally totally debunk that notion. Yep, 100%. I don't care what astrologer that's been studying for 100 million years wants to try to debate me on that or contradict my statements on that. But we are for sure in the age of Aquarius. The reason why I state this is because we're on the internet right now. Aquarius rules the internet. We spend most of our time online, and Aquarius rules technology, and it rules the internet, online things, technological devices, robots, all of these kinds of things. But I will say that we are, moving out of the age of Pisces, coming into the age of Aquarius. I feel like it's like midnight of the Aquarius age is literally like 12 a.m. on the dot. So what I mean by that is when we're changing from one day into the next day, 12 a.m. the sun is not shining bright in the sky. But we're still in that new day. It's still a brand new day. So I feel that we are on the 12 o'clock hour of the age of Aquarius, and some people are still asleep. Okay, the masses are still asleep. Most people are asleep at 12 o'clock in the early day. So it's going to take time for people to wake up and catch up. But I cannot deny that the age is here. I mean, Aquarius rules airplanes, and we have airplanes right now. We fly on airplanes frequently. Most people have been on an airplane, and airplanes were just invented back in like the 1700s or something, or 1800s or something like that. So and then Uranus was discovered, I believe, in 1776 or in 1876. I get that mixed up. But nevertheless, Uranus is the planet that rules Aquarius. And many astrologers are saying that that signified the beginning of the age of Aquarius. And that's how I see it as well. That was like the birthing of the age of Aquarius, or the conception of the age of Aquarius, if you will. Nevertheless, with that being stated, the reason why I'm even mentioning this is because Aquarius is all about unity. And what I was saying about Uranus going retrograde, all the chaotic things that are happening, what it's doing essentially is forcing humanity to become more unified. And I mean, just look at it. When there's a mass shooting, where there's an earthquake, when there's, just any form of a natural disaster or some kind of chaotic event, human beings tend to come together to find a solution to the situation, to the problem. And so we have to understand that as human beings, we didn't come to planet Earth just to enjoy our lives. We came here essentially to evolve. So the universe is ready and prepared to throw any situation at us that is going to assist in our evolution. So these chaotic events are being thrown at us so that we can evolve in the way that us human beings, I should say, I'm not an alien, but the way that we will evolve more as a human race is by becoming truly unified in the age of Aquarius. That's what it means. And it means to be unified as a human race, not just as certain ethnicities. Eventually, all human beings that are dwelling and living on planet Earth need to wake up and realize that they are one being. Of course, we need to function in certain ways with one another, but we do need to see that we are one being. So when you have a situation like a chaotic event, like a mass shooting, everyone is scrambling and people are trying to help each other. They don't even think about, oh, what race is this person? What race is that person? At the end of the day, they think about the race of the person that did the mass shooting. And it is, I do have to say, it is, all the mass shootings that we have seen thus far have been essentially white males. But nevertheless, we don't think about that at the time. We're just trying, everybody's getting to safety. When there is a major earthquake going on, people are trying to rescue and save each other, helping each other's babies. Nobody's thinking, oh, he's a black guy, he's a white guy. No, that's a Chinese lady, leave her alone. No, we're all just kind of coming together. And Aquarius rules unity, and Aquarius rules chaos. So nevertheless, I definitely want us to think about that when we have these different situations happening on Earth, that it's all about our evolution. Aquarius also rules change. So we have a lot of changes taking place on planet Earth, and that are definitely necessary, because our entire human DNA as it stands needs to evolve, and it is evolving, and it is changing. And I will get a bit more into that after I take a sip of my coconut water, if you guys do not mind. This water is so good. I'm not going to tell you what brand it is because I'm not sponsored with that. But anyways, we have Uranus in the sign of not in the sign of Aquarius. We have Uranus in the sign of Taurus, and Taurus rules our physical body. You know, our matter, our hard matter, rules Earth, all things natural, all things of nature. Uranus is going to be in Taurus for another 5 years or so, 5 to 6 years. And this particular transit helps us in our physical bodies to evolve into change. And we need to embark on that, because planet Earth is going through an evolutionary cycle. And those people who do not go through that evolutionary cycle with her will have to leave planet Earth. They will not be on the same vibrational frequency as planet Earth, and they will inevitably have to go. Okay, so all of these changes, all this chaotic stuff that is taking place is all here for the greater good of humanity. It's all happening for us to evolve, for us to become enlightened, for us to become a truly ingenious beings, you know, because that's what the Age of Aquarius is about. So if you want your DNA or your lineage to experience the great Age of Aquarius and to be a part of populating planet Earth, you want to evolve. You know, you want to change the way that you are eating. You want to change the way that you are thinking. You want to go with this shift that planet Earth is going through, so that you can be here, so that your mark could be left upon the world, and so that you just, you know, can be an evolved being. Just like animals go through evolutionary cycles and processes, and we have, you know, certain animals going extinct or what have you. That's what's happening. Certain DNAs are going extinct. You know, certain family lineages will not be carrying on into the new wave movement of planet Earth. They will not be able to survive the shifts in the climate changes that we are experiencing on Earth, or even just the intelligent levels that we are tapping into when it comes to this age. I'm so grateful for the Portal to Ascension platform, because there are so many great teachers and speakers on this platform that really give very keen, important messages on how to ascend in this time, and for this realm and the realms that are coming in the very near future. Now, I just got off tour, my tour Cosmic Conversations with Kateria, where I was really speaking about the Age of Aquarius and what's going to be happening between 2020 to about 2043. And I was discussing the most important years of our lives, which is between 2024 and 2043, when Pluto is going to go into Aquarius. And during this time, a lot of people are going to be leaving planet Earth. There's going to be a lot of chaos, and it's all about chaos coming into order. We're going to start to feel some echoes of that even beginning in the year 2020. And yeah, nevertheless, when it comes to Cosmic Conversations with Kateria, I go more in depth on these different changes that are taking place, and even explain what is happening and why it's happening the way it's happening, and who we even are in relation to the universe, and you know, just everything that is going on around us. And I also give some very useful tools on how to maneuver through this great age. I'm not going to go into everything that I gave there, definitely you can purchase the link so you can hear that information. It's about a 2-hour long dissertation of everything that is going on. But one thing that I will share from that lecture is the fact that, excuse me, when you look at the sign or the symbol of Aquarius, and let me see if I can point it out. You can see it right here. The symbol of Aquarius, you know, people say these are two water waves. They're not just water waves, they are electric currents, but we do know that water is electric. And that is the symbol of as above, so below. In this great age, you know, people are asking, where's Jesus? You know, certain Christians and religious people are asking where the great Messiah is. But unfortunately, we don't have necessarily a Messiah in this age per se. We have many Messiahs, but we don't have just one Messiah in this particular age, because the symbol for Aquarius, the as above, so below, it's literally about source itself coming into your being and demonstrating itself and actualizing itself and expressing itself through your being. So if you have source within you and it is experiencing life on earth as a human, your higher self fully merged with your lower self, you're not going to need a Messiah, you know. And that's what the Age of Aquarius is all about, is the fact that God, the God being, source energy, and all beings who are fully engulfed in source energy are going to be ruling and dwelling on planet Earth, preparing for a whole new 25,000 year life cycle. So your DNA has to be godlike or of the universe in order for you to be here, be present. So now every human being is being given this opportunity to shift their DNA to God, to a God body, to God frequency. But not many people are willing to do the work to become that. They say that cleanliness is next to godliness. Okay. And so within our minds, our bodies, our hearts, our spirits, and our energy, we must become pure. With us not being pure, source cannot dwell within us. Cleanliness is next to godliness, and source is pure energy. And so many people are going through these spiritual uploads or spiritual downloads or spiritual awakenings, whatever you want to call it. As you go through these spiritual awakenings, it's not the easiest thing all the time, and sometimes it can be quite painful. But that's literally source vibrational frequency energy trying to penetrate and go through your body. So you can feel a lot of vibrations go through your body, shakes in the middle of the night, panic attacks where you're shaking and shivering and all of these types of things. But then you come out of that with revelations, epiphanies, and enlightenment. That's source downloading more of itself into you. But in the years to come, source is taking back over planet Earth, in rightfully so. Look at all of the things that are happening on planet Earth. We for certain need source to come and whip some behinds and make some great changes on this plane, because they say that when we pass away, we go to heaven. But people forget that Earth is in the heavens, and so the higher vibrational frequency of source wants to take Earth back to a higher vibrational frequency, because for 12,000 years Earth has been going through some dark ages and some heavy dense things. We've been more on our lower vibrational way of expressing as human beings, and now it's time for Earth and all of her beings to evolve and act like we are in the heavens as we actually are. So yeah, with that being stated, we have to embrace these shifts and changes that are taking place. We have to become more enlightened, and we have to diligently walk in the direction of that evolution. But one thing that I like to share with people is, do not rush your evolution. Embrace the journey, but that doesn't mean slack on it either. But I know a lot of people that try to align their chakras, change their entire diet, work out, start a business, and do all these things all at once because they want to be the greatest or whatever. When you do that, you are still acting upon your ego, which is the opposite energy of your higher self. Now, there's no issue with the ego unless you are allowing it to control you. The ego definitely has its proper place within your life. But when you are trying to rush and become this person, become either this teacher, this speaker, or this great leader of this age, but it's not coming from a pure space, you are definitely acting upon your ego, which is for certain not the way that you want to go. Okay. And you don't want to overwhelm yourself. You can definitely overwhelm yourself when you do things such as that. All right. So I am going to be opening up like about the last 30 minutes of this session, answering any questions. And so if you guys are thinking about different things as I am speaking, just write it down, jot it down, because I love to answer questions. I love for this to be more of a dialogue. So hold your questions and we'll get to it. But nevertheless, I want to talk about this intense aspect that is happening in 2020. You know, so many people are discussing this. So many astrologers are discussing this. So many people are like, what's going to happen in 2020? I remember in 2000, and I don't know why my light just got brighter. That's so interesting. Is it something I said that the light got brighter? Okay. So, I remember in 2012, I was saying that the year 2020 is the year of perfect vision. And yeah, you know, our vision when it's perfect is considered 2020 vision. And we already know that numbers are very significant, especially when we are people that adhere to the value of numerology. And so for this year, 2020 to be 2020 and for perfect vision to be that, it makes sense that this 2020 year is going to definitely align us to a more perfect vision. But that does not mean that it will not have some chaos that comes with it. Now, to really state what's happening, we have a conjunction of Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. Now, this particular conjunction of all three of these planets hasn't happened for, I believe, about 1,000 years. It's been quite a time since these planets formulated in this type of a fashion. So this is a very, very, very big deal. But what's really, really interesting for America is the fact that it's experiencing a Pluto return. And this is America's first Pluto return. That's major. So in order to understand Pluto returns, we're going to talk about what Pluto rules and what Pluto is. So Pluto is the most powerful planet in our solar system. It is the planet that is the furthest away from the sun. It has a very strong gravitational pull around it. And it rules Scorpio, which is the most powerful sign of the zodiac. I didn't say the best sign because, you know, Aquarius is the best sign. I'm just kidding. But it is the most powerful sign of the zodiac. I mean, it rules sex and death. It rules life, you know, rebirth and transformation. Those are the most powerful things. You know, death will totally stop everything that a person is doing, essentially, for the most part, because, you know, legacies live on. But, you know, sex creates life. You know, life is what we truly have that allows us to demonstrate our power in the strongest ways, you know. And then when certain people pass away, they their name becomes even more powerful.